guys, I'm back and I'm back in another video where we will talk about illegal immigration that we have in the country and what these illegal immigrants are doing or have done to the country, because the reasons why all of this we have this issue of illegal immigrants in the countries, because guys, for the longest of times our country doesn't have the borders, and illegal immigrants are doing as they please in our country. There are so many problems. Not like, guys, I'm xenophobic or anything, but guys, it's the truth. Because this thing actually, it has done what? Destroyed the country. It has destroyed the country, because if you say anything or you complain what these people are doing to the country, then the mainstream media will come out to call you xenophobic. Yeah. So there's this video I have. Is yeah this video was made, Thomas made it today. So let's see what Thomas made this video about what you call this, Gaton McKenzie speaking out against this thing of illegal immigration in the country. Yeah, so yes.
I studied the 10 most powerful empires over the last 500 years and the last 3 reserve currencies. It took
before the elections, Gaten McKenzie was very vocal about Abahambe, was very vocal about the illegal foreigners and the crimes that are being committed by illegal foreigners in this country, and the fact that we had a complacent government that is actually doing nothing about all of these crimes that are committed by illegal foreigners, and the fact that basically in this country we don't have the borders, and it is creating a lot of issues for us. And Gaten McKenzie and Patriotic Alliance, they got to parliament and they became part of the government of national unity. And as a leader of Patriotic Alliance, President Ramaphosa appointed Gaten McKenzie as the Minister of Sports, Art and Culture. And ever since Gaten McKenzie was appointed as the Minister of Sports, Art and Culture, many people actually felt like he had abandoned the issue of Abahambe. But again, me personally, I understand it, because I think Gaten McKenzie was trying to give the Minister of Home Affairs space to actually do his time. I don't think it would be fair for Gaten McKenzie to make a lot of noise about illegal foreigners, whereas the Minister of Home Affairs was actually dealing with that issue. But at the same time, it was hurting himself and it was hurting his political party. And many people were saying that, but Gaten McKenzie, we voted for you to go to parliament so that we can fight this issue of illegal foreigners. Now that you are Minister of Sports and Agriculture, it is fine, we understand that. But why are you not fighting this issue of illegal foreigners? So it looks like finally Gaten McKenzie is back and he's going to fight the fight of foreigners in this country, because there is a video that is doing the rounds on the internet right now where Gaten McKenzie was telling the story of what actually happened with himself and his family in Ethiopia, and how South Africans basically are being treated outside. And when you listen to the stories of how South Africans are treated outside, it makes no sense why political parties like the EFF are making a
Yeah, before I continue with that, because I remember yeah, I think, where was it? I think, yeah, last year. Yeah, I think it was last year when Gaton McKenzie and his, what you call this, members of Patriotic Alliance, they were there in Limpopo River chasing out illegal foreigners. I don't know, some of chasing out illegal foreigners, and these foreigners, they come from where? Zimbabwe to the country. Then this minister of the I think I can say the former minister, because the minister of defense today, it was, guess what, Injimutsecha. So the former minister, who yes, Tandy Modise was angry at Gaton Mackenzie and the fact that Gaton Mackenzie, what Gaton Mackenzie is doing, it's illegal. It's not that it was and she was talking about she was saying the fact that it is the job it was actually it is the job of border management authority or South African National Defence Force to be guarding the borders. All of these people who are supposed to guard the borders, it is their responsibility, not get on McKinsey, you know. So my question is that when how this minister she was not even ashamed of herself and the fact that she is the minister of defense, but look now what is happening in the country. We are not safe. These people, they are doing as they please in our country, and we are saying nothing. When we complain and say anything about these illegal immigrants and what these people are doing in the country, we are xenophobic. But in other countries, you'll never see that thing happening. You'll never see. Even these people who come outside of the country, in their countries, you cannot, because if you try to enter in those countries illegal without the papers, the military there will show you flames. Even if Sebati you go to Zimbabwe and enter Zimbabwe without the papers, the military of Mnangagwa will show you flames. Will show you flames. But here, look in South Africa, with so many foreigners, a lot of foreigners. Then the next thing is xenophobic. The fact that these people are committing crimes in the country. Okay, at the end of the day, because the blame actually here, it must go to ANC of neglecting our borders and everything in the country. So that's how it is. Yeah, that's how.
Lot of noise and saying that just open everything because these people are our people, we love these people, and let's sing kumbaya. But this is not how it is, because when people are telling you stories about how South Africans are treated outside, especially in Africa, you can understand why we should close our borders. Let's listen to Gaten Mackenzie actually telling the story of what actually happened with himself and his family in Ethiopia.
Sometimes you fight instead of taking the lesson. I'm going to repeat this because that's what I want to talk about. Sometimes there's a lesson and not a fight. Nou wil julle voorbeeld maak wat gebeur. My dogter sê vir my, "Daddy, can I tell you something that's bothering me about you?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Daddy, why is it that you don't want the foreigners to own businesses here? Why is it that you don't want them to own businesses here? They're looking for money for their children also."
Okay. Yeah. When it comes to the businesses here in the country by foreigners, we know we have seen what happened. This issue of children dying, eating contaminated food, and the fact that these foreigners, whether it's Somalia, Ethiopia, Bangladesh, Indian, all of these people who are running spaza shops here in the country, and this food that they're selling have claimed children's life, have took out the children, innocents, especially children in the country, but at the end of the day, when people speak about this, because I remember when it was when I think it was the year, I think, yeah, last year 2023, on Daily Theatre, this guy Mkolisi Masango, when he had an interview with Julius Malema. And Julius Malema at that time was very, very vocal when it comes to this thing of illegal foreigners defending these people and saying that these people that are selling here, I don't know, they are poor people, and why let's not talk about that issue of spaza shops. Let's talk about expired food that was found on Spar. And I'm like, guys, Like, guys, do you hear what is saying actually? Do you hear, like, can you hear him? What is he saying? What exactly saying about this thing? About the fact that no, guy, no. And he asked him police that where is the evidence that is showing that this contaminated food that is sold by these people are killing the children, are killing the children, the children are killing the children. Where is the evidence about that? You know, let's not talk about that issue. Let's talk about this issue, this expired things that is found on Spa. So my question was that if you are talking, if you say, if you say that no, let's not talk about this issue of spaza shops. Let's talk about this issue of Spa. What is the difference between Spa and a spaza shop? Spa, like Spa. And which food that has killed which food that has killed the children that were sold in Spa? Because many people are shopping there in Spa. In Spa, it's a shopping center. And Spa is not a tuck shop. It's a shopping center where people go there and shop, whether they buy, I don't know, buy groceries and many things. But guys, if you can put Spa here and put what you call this issue of illegal immigrant, of this actually this issue of spaza shops that are owned by these illegal immigrants in the country, and the fact that these spaza shops were illegal, were run illegal, they were not even registered, so so this question to get on Mackenzie, but we'll hear what is gonna be, what you call this, his actually let's hear his response, the fact that why do we have a problem of these illegal immigrants maybe operating their businesses here in our country. Yeah, so let's hear.
I said, okay. I said, can Daddy teach you an example in the next 8 days? She said, fine. We go to Dubai on holiday with my kids. I block off one day. I get them all visas to Ethiopia. I pay. My office fills in every form. I pay 30,000 rand. I tell my kids, come. We jump off in Ethiopia. I said, we're going into Ethiopia for 5 hours. I want you to tell me, do you see a South African with a shop there?
Exactly. Yeah.
They say, fine, Daddy.
You're right.
My daughter says, of course there'll be South Africans with shops. I said, I'll give you 1,000 rand for every South African with a shop you will see in Ethiopia. When we got to the border gate, they didn't know who I was. They check our visas. They say, where do you stay in Ethiopia? We said, no, we are not staying. We are flying back to South Africa tonight. We are just going for 5 hours. They say, but you have to have a hotel. I said, but why would we need an hotel if we are not staying? We are going in and we're coming out. Here's our flight ticket back
to South Africa.
Here's our visa that you gave us, that we paid for. They said, no, you're not coming into our country.
You see? You see that? You see?
My elder son says, what?
Do you see?
I said, this is not a fighting time. This is a lesson time. They refused to let my family into Ethiopia. Was all the papers.
Maybe papers or I don't know, passports, even passports. You can see in Ethiopia.
Dad, I'm a genius. We don't
Show
have
you
to freeze
things.
anymore. I can make us penguins fly.
That's gonna be tricky without wings.
Exactly. That's why I thought Red Bull.
Oh,
Having paid for a visa, They gave us the visas.
But we have Ethiopians here in South Africa owning spaza shops, and the fact that I remember when I saw the president of the country, Ramaphosa, being friendly with someone that comes from Ethiopia. But the people, the residents there in that community that they're staying, they're complaining the fact that these people, they are selling contaminated food and other things. Because I heard another report, or I saw I saw news, like I've heard of another report in Eastern Cape, the fact that this young girl that ate the biscuits from this from this, and those biscuits that she ate, she bought them from a spaza shop, a local spaza shop there in Eastern Cape. The next thing you'll see things here, I don't know, guys, and guess what? That my friend, that guy, he comes from where? Guess where he comes from? In Ethiopia. But here in South Africa, when we complain about the things, we complain about this thing of illegal immigrants, we are xenophobic. But do you hear what Getty McKenzie is saying, guys? Look at our country. Look at the mess that we find ourselves here in the country. The fact that we don't have the borders, there's no military that is patrolling there in our borders, guarding our border posts, you know. But this thing, go and try it there in Ethiopia. Go and try to enter in Ethiopia without the papers and see what the military of Ethiopia will do to you. Do you think they will allow you maybe to come there in Ethiopia and open a spaza shop? And sell contaminated food that will end up doing what? End up killing the children there in what you call this, in Ethiopia. But here in South Africa, what about the South African children who have lost their life? What about the South African children who have died because of contaminated food? But when South Africans speak out about this thing, in this country, in our country, we are xenophobic. So actually, we don't have a right, us as the citizens of this country, to protect our country. But these people there in Ethiopia and other countries, they're protecting their countries. There's no way you can enter Ethiopia without the papers. You can't. Or in other countries. You see the importance of having the borders in the country, and the fact that our borders must be closed, and there must be a military there that will be guarding the borders 24/7. No one mustn't come into the country illegally. If you want to come to South Africa, I don't know whether you come to Zimbabwe or where, you must come into the country with the papers, legal, not illegal. Come with your visa, come with your passport, you know. Then you are welcome to come into the country. You know, as long as you came into the country with the right papers, we don't have a problem. We don't have a problem, because at the end of the day, South Africa is one of the most diverse countries one of the most diverse countries in the world. You know, what we are saying is that people must come into the country legally, but at the same time, when we say that people must come into the country legally, this issue of the borders, it needs to be fixed. But I don't think anytime soon this thing will be fixed, because this thing has been happening for the longest of times. People coming into the country legally, you know, coming into the country actually illegally. Yeah, maybe I can say there are most foreigners who are in the country legally. I don't know, but especially with those who are in the country illegally, it's a problem. It's a problem. You can see how Johannesburg. You can see how Johannesburg it's a mess because of illegal immigrants. Then we have these comrades of ANC blaming apartheid. How can you say apartheid regime allowing a situation where illegal immigrant hijacks a building in the middle of the city? How? These people, they are no longer in charge of the country. They're no longer in charge of the country. It's the ANC government that is in charge of the country. You know, that's how I see it.
And the Ethiopian government refused for us to go into Ethiopia. And I said to my kids, let's go back. I didn't tell them I'm a minister. I didn't need to tell them I'm a minister because I wanted to impart a lesson to my children that when their father says, Abba Hambe here, it's because their father behaves no different than what these people that wants to take over our country
Yes.
is behaving in their country.
Yes. And it's not only them. So many.
I'm a minister. They can check that on the screen. But they don't want me in the country. My son is a successful businessman. My children at flights back, they want to let them in the country. But they come in our country. And there's some of you that says, we must allow people here
to come to the country
to destroy
everything.
Us.
Mm.
So next time, before you open your mouth,
yes,
you must understand why is it that your leaders are taking certain decisions. Why will they protect their country?
But us, why are you not protecting our country?
What they like in our country.
Yes, why are you not protecting our country?
I mean, essentially, this is what the ANC has basically allowed. And
exactly what Keton Mackenzie is doing. These guys from Ethiopia, they are protecting their country, and like the fact that no one mustn't come into. Have you heard the fact that there's illegal the fact that illegal immigrant has come into Ethiopia illegally and hijacks a building or sell contaminated food and do all of these things here in South Africa. Actually, you see all of these things. You see many things that are happening in the country in South Africa until today. They're not happening in those countries like Ethiopia, Bangladesh, Somalia, where Pakistani, all of these countries. Those issues, this issue of illegal immigration is not happening there in their countries, but here in South Africa, it's happening. But it is so. Us as the citizens of this country, what is stopping us from protecting our country from these people who are in the country illegally? Because it's a crime on its own. It's a crime on its own, this whole thing. Do you hear what he's saying? And you see, it's the truth. That's how it is. That's how it is. You can see this whole thing of human trafficking, this thing of drugs, this thing of many things that are happening here in the country. And what we have to say. And because this thing actually, it hurts us as the citizens of this country. Our country is overburdened by these people who come outside of the country. Because why? Our borders are not protected. No one is protecting the borders. And it's the ANC. But my question is that when apartheid government was in charge of this country, do you think these people, they didn't know what they were doing when it comes to our borders? When it comes to protecting our borders? And the fact that no one must not come into the country without the papers. If you want to come into the country, you must come into the country legally. Because in other countries, that's how it goes. In the rest of the world, even if you go to China, even if you go where, you must come into those countries legally. You must respect their laws. That's it. Even here in South Africa, what's stopping us? Why is it not happening? Why are these people not respecting our laws? It's because South Africa is Father Christmas. Everyone is welcome to come into the country. I don't know, even if you can rape someone, kill someone, sell drugs and whatsoever, just know that if you do all of these things here in South Africa, you won't get caught. Because why? and it's so difficult for this person to be traced down. Actually, this person can't be traced down because why? He doesn't have the papers to be in the country. We don't know who that person is in this country. We don't know. If we don't know, it's not like Ethiopia. It's not like we have Ethiopians only in the country. We have mixed, like we have a lot of these foreigners in this country. We have a lot of them.
You know, guys, I would always say that it is frustrating to me as a South African that when we heard about the story of children dying after eating the contaminated food, the president of the country, instead of saying that we must close off these shops, the president of the country came out to say that we are giving the tuck shop owners 21 days to register their spaza shops. And these people that are running these spaza shops, they came out in thousands to try to register their spaza shops. And it clicked to me that these people were actually running these shops without any form of documentation. I mean, what kind of reason is that? Still, like till today, I cannot believe that the South African government actually allowed the people to get into the country illegally, to open and operate the spaza shops illegally in this country.
Illegal.
And they were not going to do anything about these people that are operating all of these shops illegally if it wasn't for the case of these children that were dying after eating the contaminated food. I mean, that alone on its own, it is a scandal that actually needs attention. And it is shocking because nobody is actually is saying nothing about this scandal. This is a scandal of its own. This is something that actually needs to be investigated. How did these people get into this country? And how did you, as the government, actually allow the people to open the spaza shops? Because it's not like you people were not aware that these people were opening the spaza shops in the townships. It is not like you people were not aware. You were aware that they were opening the spaza shops in the townships.
They were aware and they didn't bother or care the fact that they didn't bother or do something about this whole thing of illegal spaza shops in the country, and these people who are in the country illegally operating these spaza shops of theirs illegally, So guys, we are in this. We are fucked up as a country. This country is we are fucked up. That guys, these things that are happening, this thing of illegal immigration in the country, guys, it's a problem. It's a problem. But it's not like I'm xenophobic, but guys, it's the truth. It's out of control. At the end of the day, it's out of control. This whole thing of what you call this illegal immigrants in the country.
We are aware that these spaza shops were not registered. And possibly you were aware that these people were selling contaminated food. And you did nothing about it. You did absolutely nothing about that. And it had to take children die. Children had to die for you guys to try to say that, okay, we are going to let these people register their spaza shops. You say nothing about the food that these people are selling to the communities, but you are only saying that, okay, let's formalize these death traps that you people are operating. You know, guys, this is one scandal that I cannot get over. I swear to God, this is one thing that I am struggling to get over. The fact that the people got into this country and they opened the spaza shops without any form of documentation. And the government actually allowed them to do that. They allow them to do that. And when South Africans try to say anything, you have the mainstream media and you have some of these people in the government to say that South Africans are xenophobic.
Yes.
And
exactly.
These people are not only operating the spaza shops in this country. Just go to Johannesburg CBD, just go to any city in the CBD, and and you will see the people that come outside of this country operating the brothels in this country. And can
Exactly.
South Africans actually operate the brothels outside of this country?
Yes, in other
Can
countries.
we operate the brothels outside of this country?
You
The people
can't.
are selling the drugs, they are doing as they please
Ha.
in our CBDs,
Yes.
and there is absolutely nothing
It's
that
done.
the government can do about these people. Like, this is the treason of the highest, like, this is the highest treason of them all. This is the highest treason of them all. The fact that they are saying nothing, they are saying nothing. They are pretending like all of these things that we talk about do not even exist. They're pretending as if all of these drugs that we are talking about do not even exist. They're pretending as if the crimes that are linked with the fact that we don't have the borders in this country, they do not exist. They are not even attending to any of these matters. But if South Africans dare say anything, then they are labeled xenophobic. They are labeled xenophobic.
Yes, of
Label
course.
got naked to save on car insurance.
Exactly.
Get a car insurance quote in under 90 seconds and see how much you can save.
Exactly. You're xenophobic.
Xenophobic.
If you say anything, you're xenophobic. You hate foreigners. That's how the mainstream media paints you. You hate foreigners. They will say
Can
you
South
hate
Africans
foreigners.
go outside and do what these people are doing in our country?
You can't.
Can our
Actually,
people
Jay,
go outside of this country and
we
go
are a
to
joke.
Nigeria
We are a
to
joke.
operate a brothel in the middle of Lagos? Can we go to Abuja and open a brothel in Abuja? I'm 100% sure. That's and
You see, this has to go with the fact that you can see what you call this. I mean, the ANC was there, in Kaelicha, accusing the DA, saying that the DA hates the people of Kaelicha. Look how people are living in Kaelicha and many things. Okay, I understand the DA is governing there and there, but you can see how Cape Town is being run by the DA government. You can see it's clean. There's no this issue. There's no what you call this. You'll never find this issue of hijacked buildings in the middle of the cities and many things there in Cape Town. You'll never see. But for example, if Cape Town was not governed by the DA government, do you think ANC will govern better than the DA there in Cape Town, in Western Cape? Otherwise, Cape Town will be like Johannesburg. It will be like Johannesburg. The fact that buildings are hijacked in the middle of the cities, look at the places, dirty crimes that are happening there in Johannesburg. And whose fault is it that Johannesburg, it's a mess and buildings have collapsed, some of them have burned down, that claims people's lives. Look at the gas explosion that hit there in Johannesburg. Look at many issues there in Johannesburg, in Gauteng. And tell me that ANC government did an honorable job, did a good job governing Gauteng and the city there in Gauteng. Like, to tell you the truth, this thing, what actually I can say, this whole thing is happening everywhere in the country, but especially in Johannesburg, it's a mess. It's a mess there in Johannesburg. This thing of drugs, Malemo saying, yeah, we are the ones who are selling drugs. We are the ones who are beating our women. We are the ones who are killing each other. How do you say South Africans are the only ones who are committing crimes in this country? And the fact that today, and the fact that crime in this country, the way crime is out of control in this country, whose fault is it? Between the citizens of this country, between South African born criminals and these people who come outside of the country. Actually, if you can see here, which is which, who commits crimes most here in this country? It's not like I'm xenophobic. Who commits crimes most? Maybe is it South Africans or is this people who come outside of the country? Guys, I don't. But But guys, me, I can say that illegal immigrants are the ones who are committing most crimes here in this country. It's not like I'm saying that South Africans also don't commit crimes, this but guys, this thing of illegal immigration in the country and what these people have done to our country, it is a mess. Then yeah, we are xenophobic. But look in other countries. In other countries, they don't tolerate that nonsense. Here in South Africa, what about all of this nonsense that is happening in this country? All of these things that are happening in the country. But there, they're not happening. That's guys. This whole thing of illegal immigration in the country, guys, it's a serious issue.
A South African will never be able to operate a brothel in Abuja. I'm 100% sure that South African cannot be able to operate a tuck shop in Pakistan without some sort of
documentation
in Pakistan.
Mm.
But these people are here in this country.
Illegal.
They are here in this country and they have tens and tens of thousands of shops. I mean, right now, nobody is actually checking how many of these shops were actually registered. The president came out to say that, no, we are giving these people 21 days to register. And some of these people, they actually went to the mainstream media to insult the president, to say that, no, the president cannot give us 21 days to register our spaza shops. It is impossible for us to register these spaza shops in 21 days. So we are calling for the president to actually extend the date. The mainstream media gave these people time to go on television to basically attack our presidents and to attack us as a country. And you have political parties like the EFF that are telling you about one Africa in South Africa.
How?
You have the political parties like the EFF and the leader of the EFF that is basically saying that the foreigners must
they must find creative ways to enter into the country. This whole thing of one Africa, this whole thing, guys, to tell you the truth, this thing is nonsense. There's no way. It's nonsense. Me, guys, to tell you the truth, this thing is nonsense. Hey, one Africa, yeah. How? How? This whole thing of saying, hey, one Africa, it means that we must open all our borders in the country. All our borders in the country. Yeah, they must find creative ways to enter into the country. No one, because the St. Julius Malema said that in Europe there are no borders. So if we are saying that in Europe there are no borders, which means here in South Africa also we mustn't have the borders because Europe they don't have the borders. Hey.
Ways to get into the country. But when these people commit crimes, these people are nowhere to be found. When these people are killing children,
they are nowhere to be found.
These leaders of these political parties are nowhere to be found. I mean, what we as the people of this country, what actually have we done to deserve these people? What have we done to deserve these people? It is such a shame that we are in this position that we are in today. I mean, it is such a shame that many South Africans cannot even express their frustrations about these foreigners in this country because they will be labeled xenophobic. People are scared to be labeled xenophobic. Unlike some of us, I don't care if anybody labels me as xenophobic. I don't care. You can call me xenophobic 10 times. I don't care. I don't care. But many people cannot say that. Many people cannot stand the criticism of actually being labeled xenophobic. They cannot stand that. And right now, this is what the foreigners are doing in this country. They commit crimes, and when South Africans speak, they say no, these people are xenophobic because they...
Yes. Yeah, that's what these are the issues that we face as a country. Especially with this one of illegal immigrants and what these illegal immigrants are doing in the country. But when you come out and speak about this whole thing as xenophobic, you hear what Ketona Kenzie said. You heard what Ketona Kenzie said, that the fact that they were chased out there in what you call this, in Ethiopia. But here in South Africa, how many Ethiopians do we have? Ethiopian nationals do you have in the country? How many foreigners do you have in the country? And what these people, the fact that these people, they are operating spaza shops here in the country. right in front of our eyes, opening spaza shops, selling contaminated food that has killed the children. Now, look, this thing has been happening it has been happening for the longest of times. You remember in 2023, last year, you remember in 2023, last of last year, even in 2024, it happened. 2024 ended, now it's 2025. What's gonna happen now? Then we have a president here in the country saying that these people are given 21 days to register. How? How are these people given 21 days to register their businesses when children have lost their lives because of these people, because of this contaminated food that they sell? Alright, guys. Yeah. This is the video. You'll tell me in the comments what you think, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye, and don't forget to subscribe and like.